The cold of the northern woods doesn't just want to freeze your body. It wants to hollow out your soul.
10 years ago, during the worst blizzard I've ever seen, I learned that hunger can find its own legs. I heard a child's cry coming from the middle of the dead trees. The thermometer read 30 degrees below zero. Nobody would survive out there. That's when I realized the sound wasn't coming from a human throat.
My name is Sthefan Wells. Welcome back to Nightmare Chronicles. Pull up a chair near the fire,
Because today's story is going to make your blood run cold. In the ancient legends, there is a creature called the Wendigo. They say it is born of greed and cannibalism, a spirit of insatiable hunger that grows with every person it devours. But here, in these woods, it is more than a legend. It is the freezing breath that blows into the cracks of my cabin. The snow had risen to the windows. I was alone, with supplies for only 3 more days. On the second day of the storm, the radio stopped working. The silence that followed was heavy, as if the forest itself were waiting for a signal. At night, I began to hear footsteps on the roof. They weren't heavy like a bear's, but light and fast, as if something with ice claws was testing the boards. I looked through the keyhole. At the edge of my lantern's light, I saw a figure. It was tall, over 7 feet.
but so thin the skin looked like paper glued to the bones. The head was a deer skull with jagged antlers.
Where the eyes should have been, there were only 2 blue embers, cold as the center of an iceberg. The smell arrived first, rotting meat mixed with fresh pine. The Wendigo doesn't just attack, it enters your mind. I started having thoughts that weren't mine. I looked at my own arm and for a second, it looked like food. The hunger I felt wasn't normal. It was a black hole in my stomach screaming to be filled. Outside, the creature began scratching the door. It whispered names of people I loved in voices I hadn't heard for decades. Sthefan, let us in. We are so hungry. I knew if I stepped out, I wouldn't just be the next meal. I would become part of that abomination. I spent the whole night with my shotgun pointed at the door.
For dawn to arrive. Every time the creature hit the wall, the cabin shook. I saw long claws through the cracks. The Wendigo doesn't just want your flesh, it wants you to surrender to despair. It wants to claim your place. If you hear the cry of a loved one in the frozen woods, do not open the door. The cold is waiting. This is Sthefan Wells. Subscribe, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more stories here on your Nightmare Chronicles channel.